Hey guys, and welcome back to episode number 3 of this 10-part episode with a Tyty killer. This time I got it correct. And we are racing through all the acts and having some real nice inside information. We've done Act 1 and Act 2 already, and the timer is about 32 minutes at the moment, close to 33 minutes, and we are now approaching Act 3, and we're just gonna go straight away and see what he's doing in Act 3 to speed things up. One question I had on the last episode that I didn't really fit in is about levels. What level should you be when you approach certain things?
So the only important level that you really need to hit is going to be level 20 on Vol Oversoul, at least early on. In Act 3, you want to leave docks around level 25 or so. Ideally, you want to be level 28 on Dominus. You want to be level 30 and some change by the time that you're leaving Dried Lake. And then you want to be around 39 and some change when you're leaving Chamber Innocence.
Is there any specific reason why exactly level 20 on Vol Oversoul and stuff?
It's just to be able to do the craft afterwards. That way you can boost your damage. I mean, even if you're like Ranger or something, it makes the next few acts like very easy because the amount of XP you need is going to increase from each level. But the pacing is still very high, like it is in the first 2 acts.
Basically, you're not talking to any kind of quest NPC because you're getting the quests once you hit the certain zone, right? God, I waste always so much time, go into Act 3, pick up the waypoint, pick up the trial waypoint, talk to the NPCs, vendor a bit. It's like 10 minutes what I spent in the early Act 3 before I do anything, while you're actually almost done with the act. But it's like the difference between if you have stress, if you're racing, or if you're like, yeah, I'm just playing for fun here anyways.
Yep. It's one of my biggest things that I always tell people is one of the biggest fundamentals is knowing when you want to go to town and exactly what you want to do when you go to town. So after Vol Oversoul, we logged out, we sold our items, and this meant that we had a clean inventory and we don't have to talk to anybody until after Crematorium anyways. So you get the trial. I always recommend getting the waypoint here. There's a weird layout where the waypoint's very far away from Piety. So I just go ahead and do that. And here I get ready to do another wand craft, and then I realized I don't have another alteration, so we're gonna have to hold on to that one. A mistake that I made is I could have actually equipped the chest piece and equipped those 2 blue gloves. The extra stats are kind of nice. And here we go ahead and pick up the keys and flammability. You can vendor here, but I'm not going to vendor 1 amulet. It's not going to hold up much space, and I'm not going to get any real benefit from selling it. So we opt not to sell any items here.
And you're writing in the chat anyways for Pyro, so that means you're switching gems soon, or?
Yeah, I'll be using Pyroclast mines, and that's what the flammability is for.
Alright, so what is your current setup, basically? If we're talking about you're having, once you have your inventory open, you have like 3 links on your weapons, for example. Did that actually change over the time if we kind of missed that one? If you pause over here, if you take your current gear, what stats do you look for, and what is your current setups here?
So early on, all you need is movement speed, and you need your links. So the links are blue, blue, green, as you can see in the offhand one. That's going to be Frost Bomb, Added Lightning, and Onslaught. In the blue, 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 you're going to use Flame Dash, Arcane Surge, and Orbistorms. In a green, green, blue, you're going to use what is it called? Stormblast Mine, Trap and Mine Damage, and Swift Assembly. Now, I made a mistake and accidentally used Lesser Poison on Vol Oversoul. If I used Trap and Mine Damage, it actually would have gone down way faster. But, that's just a mistake. We have to have Smoke Mine somewhere else, and we have to have our auras. So that's going to be Skitterbots and Herald of Thunder somewhere else. That's it for our links. Early on, you don't really need the stats, but rings are a very nice way to show up resistances. The only zones where you really need resistances, like you start needing resistances, it's nice to have Fire Res and Crematorium, as you can see by the Ruby Ring. It's nice to have a Topaz Ring in Sewers, as you can see by the Dischargers. I'm wearing the Topaz Ring. Yeah. And if you go to the trial in Marketplace, I don't remember the name of it, but it's nice to have Cold Res there.
All right. And yeah, those rings, Topaz gives you 30%, up to 30% lightning resistance on the implicit, same as the Ruby on Fire. So this is actually super quick to get resistance going if you're lacking some.
I tried to do the skip there, wasn't able to do it. This very first or very second bust, I guess the very first bust after the waypoint, will always tell you where the next bust is. If it's a small room like that, it's going to be over this way to the right, and if it's a very very large room, then the bust will be at the very end.
Yeah,
Here for passes.
I'm usually just looking for, God, where is this shit? Oh, I have to backpedal. It's like all the time, dude, I swear.
Yeah, layouts don't matter as much as the fundamentals of inventory management, XP management, and town management. So like knowing what you want to do in town.
Right, about the skill points that you said? Mentioned?
Yeah, I was saying for the skill points, we're picking up a lot of damage. And one mistake that I make is after this little mine node that we were gonna get, the notable one, we should get the life node in Shadow. Let me go ahead and pull up POB so I can see what that is. So I can get the accurate names for them. But yes, after you get volatile mines, you're gonna want to go ahead and pick up blood.
I mean,
siphon,
basically, let me just open path of building so people actually see. Oh god.
Sure, that works too.
That would be a little bit easier here. And so we don't.
Yeah, that'd be easier than me saying it.
Because we actually want to see you doing this, and while you explain the skill tree, you're basically almost done with Act 3, and we're just talking about skill tree.
Right.
So let me just make a new one. I just try to replicate. So one thing, you did take the alley nodes, right? So here, the Shadow, there we go. You're picking the alley nodes rather than the trap and mine damage. Is there any specific reason, or is it just like more damage because you're just having your generic elemental damage?
Yeah, it's pretty much that. So if you picked up the trap and mine damage, it would increase the damage of Stormblast mine, Icicle mine, Pyroclast mine, all the mines that we're going to be using. But it's not going to increase the damage of Frost Bomb. It's not going to increase the damage of Flame Dash. It's not going to increase the damage of Orbital Storms. Whereas if you pick up the elemental damage nodes, you're able to increase the damage of all of your damage basically. So that includes the Frost Bomb. That includes all your mines. So because we're an elemental miner, we go ahead and pick up the elemental damage nodes.
Or the general scaling of everything. So then you had something like this top side, this one.
So the pathing here is we will get that little elemental damage node, and then we will not take elemental focus. We'll take Saboteur on Brutus. This is why Brutus goes down so quickly. Then we go to cold-hearted calculation through elemental focus. Yep. The big node at the top.
Okay,
so now we'll do this. Then we take that little wheel right there, the lethal assault, the health, the little movement speed node right there. Then we go up to the mine nodes at the top, volatile mines.
Up here?
All the way up there. Yep.
The right side.
On the right side.
Yeah.
Eventually you will need the whole wheel, but after that you're gonna want to pick up Blood Siphon because it gives you a lot of life.
So Blood Siphon was, god damn it.
It's the 2 little life node right there. Yep.
Oh, written in blood.
No. Blood
these one. Oh, sorry.
There you go.
There we go.
You want to pick that one up.
Yeah, because I was wondering anyways, like, since you're playing Hardcore Solo Self, I mean, the more you trust in your skill, the less you can care on life, I guess. I mean, I probably would just focus on that one before I take the damage. I will take this cluster here. Next one, I will probably go take Blood Drinker on top of that just for the extra life before I do even care about my damage. But it's just me, you know? But yeah, so now we're basically having this kind of skill tree at the moment, at the current state, I guess.
Yeah, following in the words that you can follow one of 2 philosophies. You can follow the Ty-23/Steel Mage philosophy of you can't XP if you're dead, but you can also follow the cute dog strategy of monsters can't kill you if they're dead. So
just don't get hit, basically.
Just don't get hit, dude. Yeah, that's the Havoc philosophy. There you go.
Okay, yeah. But I get some evasion of the Queen of the Forest.
But yeah, here you can see that I'm getting cursed by Frostbite. This is a pretty nasty curse in this zone. Same with Crematorium, you get cursed with Flammability, and sometimes you can just take a ton of damage if you have no resistances. Going again to Alira, and you can actually Smoke Mine over that. You can Flame Dash, Leap Slam, Blink Arrow over that as well.
Right, and the next trial is done. So, talking about trials in Labyrinth, when is the optimal timing when you should approach the lab? Is it like once you feel confident enough or tanky enough, or are you waiting for a certain skill point or a crafting recipe so you can just one-shot your Sorrow, or do you say like, okay, once Act 3 is done, I have to have the first lab done?
So it's up to, so you ask yourself the question, do I get immediate gigantic benefit from this, like a speed increase, something like a Deadeye or like a Pathfinder
Tailwind, yeah.
taking the movement speed nodes. Um, so one of those two, you would say, okay, I'm going to do lab at 28, like basically as soon as possible. If you don't get immediate benefit, you do it in Act 4 at level 31. So that way your gems will level up. Both your level 12 gems and your level 28 gems will level up at the same time at level 31, which is a nice damage increase. So that includes things like icicle mines, pyroclast mines. If you're saboteur, includes things like arc and lightning spire trap. If you're like a witch or a templar, includes, I mean, just your toxic rain, scourge arrow. Although scourge arrow doesn't gain as much benefit, but it's things like that that really matter. Other classes you can give or take a level, but typically we want to get to level 31 by the time we're in Mines 1 or Mines level 2. Actually, no, I think it's where you have that waypoint in Act 4. But you take that waypoint and you go do lab. You'll see me later on grab the last trial, and we go up to the Labyrinth, and then we just get that waypoint so that we don't have to come back to the Act 3 town later on in Act 4.
So, are you going to do the library, actually?
Nope. I don't. Unless you need the library, you're gonna go ahead and just wait until the Act 6 quest. So if you're something like ED Contagion, for example, I would just level his Frost Bomb into Cold Snap, and like Vortex maybe into something like using ED Contagion from Act 6 onwards.
Okay.
Here, the decision to go to Solaris over Docks is really just about XP. You have to be either level 24 or close to level 24 to go to Docks first. In most runs, I find that I'm not at that point, so I just go to Solaris instead. And we're gonna farm Docks until around level 25 and some change. So I think in this run, I find the soul fight really quickly, but I opt to continue killing mobs so I can get more XP. It was either that or I end up not finding it for till the very last part.
This is
But
what
Mystery
usually
and Docks
happens
is
to me.
perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
you either find Fairgraves and then you're looking for the soul fight like forever, and you're like, holy shit, what is left in this area? And then you see like a small pixel, and you're like, oh, there it is. Like it takes up a lot of time for me in the docks all the time.
I think it's perfectly fine if you misread Docks, just because you get so much XP. At the end of every one of those little ledges is a magic pack, so it's an excellent way to correct your experience.
This is one of your experience farming zones.
Yes. This is early on. The experience farming zones are going to be Northern Forest, the Docks, Dried Lake, to an extent, and Chamber Innocence. And after Chamber Innocence, you're pretty much good to go all the way until Blood Aqueducts. Hopefully, if you're level 90, 39 and some change in Chambers.
Blood Aqueducts is then the power leveling zone, as we all use it, or abuse it, better said, because the density and the layout is just so good. And on some builds, you need like, I don't know, like 2 minutes or something for a whole run with killing all the monsters. You just continue doing that, and there is no freaking way to make that one faster. And then you just bump up like, I don't know, like 6, 7, 8 levels, 63, 64, whatever you're gonna do. So you can basically just run through Act 9 and 10, basically.
And that's what we end up doing in this run, because it's what I recommend doing on a league start. You're always going to want to farm Blood Aqueducts until about 62. This allows you to get XP, it allows you to pick up more gear, and most importantly, you're able to get humilities, which sell for about 2 chaos each in Softcore Trade League.
I like how you jumped over there. The first attempt did like
Oh,
not
yeah.
hit. It's like, how do you, like, is there like a test run that you make, and just to see where can I possibly skip parts of my race? Is there like, do you stand to every single wall throwing mines here and there and see if you can jump over somewhere? Or how do you get ideas like that? Because I see you doing, I think they fixed that. I think it was in Act 6 or 7. On the way where you were talking to Helena in Act 2 for the first time, you know, where you killed the beast, where everybody is like running in a circle and going back to hit the den or whatever, or this ruin.
Yep, Chamber Sins 2.
Yeah, and you were just going to the right side, jumping over this obstacle and save like another 20 seconds where everybody else was moving around. And that was actually, I remember that point when Race actually said that, wait a second, did Ty just jump over there? Like, is this even possible? Like, how do you get this idea? Trying to fix that.
Sometimes it comes from practice where it goes, hey, there's a gap here. What if I can smoke mine over it? Because smoke mine throws, like the distance of smoke mine is longer than flame dash. So a lot of time it's just like, what if I can jump over that? And with the skip in Chambersons too, it was kind of like that. It was just like, what if I could just flame dash over? And then as I said that, I discovered the skip. Apparently someone else discovered it like weeks beforehand, but it wasn't a racer. It was a popular streamer, and not many people knew about it or took note of it. But yeah, when that happened, I was really happy, and now it's reverted and doesn't work anymore, unfortunately. So GGG, please bring it back.
It's like really insane. It's just a complete different style of playing the game, and I just love it. I think if I would start my hardcore solo self-mode career right now, I would just relive all the hype of Path of Exile, to be honest. Because I mean, obviously, every single league start is something special and makes fun.
Yep.
But you know, after you played like 2 years, it's like, yeah, of course, you have fun for a month or so, but in the end, it comes down to the same stuff you're always doing every single league until you get bored and you're like, okay, let's stop. But this is why 3.9 is going to be so cool, because we have an entire changed end game with all the bosses and so much new stuff to discover with the league. So I guess we're gonna have an insane massive player base, because a lot of people are hyped for the new stuff, and not only, okay, how long does it take this time to kill Shaper, how long does it take that time, you know, like kind of stuff.
Yep.
But I heard that you have, because there's something I want to point out. I heard you have for like almost every single class, like if it's Ranger, because we're hitting towards a bow meta league. So for softcore players, basically, there is going to be a lot of people that want to try out bow, right? Probably not racing, because there are certain characters that are just better meta characters, so I don't think as a melee character you will be as fast as this miner, basically. But I think you have, like, for every single class you have like a race, right? Or at least like a guidance here. Can you talk about that a little bit?
In my chat, !Ranger will take you to a Ranger VOD. I did 3.5 hour Acton Katava. I didn't get the very last trials, and I didn't do all the skill points like I do in this run. Like, skill points actually slow you down a lot. If you go back and do things like Fairgraves, you know, you can see that I lost 1.5 minutes there. Especially things like the Scorpion in Act 9, Yugal in Act 8, Valenta in Act 10. Those skill points take a significant amount of time. But on Ranger and Duelist especially, I was able to get 3.5 hour Act 10 Katava completed with an okay amount of skill points, not really focusing on it too much. But it's perfectly fine. I'll be working on a Marauder VOD probably today. I mean, I guess by the time the video comes out, it'll already be out. But yeah, I like racing all the classes. I like learning about new optimizations. There's lots of little things, like, for example, on a Witch, you have to buy a Jade amulet because you don't have the dexterity for Smoke Mine. So you need 2 transmutes instead of 1.
Mm-hmm. And you're skipping that dude?
Yeah, you don't have to kill the mini Brutus here.
I remember that one. When I played Hardcore Solo Self-Found, there was Ghosted Cole. The Cole is this dude, the Brutus brother. And he was ghosted, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm a summoner, you know, I have like some zombies out there. He just one-shotted me. Like, I really hate this dude here. So you can just... I never thought about stuff like that. So he's not even a part of a quest or something, you know? I just do him because he's there. Maybe he drops something nice, and you just skip it completely.
It's kind of like Kuruku or like the Scorpion guy in Northern Forest. Like, you can completely just skip like all the unique bosses in the game. They're like Nemesis mods, I guess, or whatever they're called. Like, they're not beyond bosses. They're a certain type of monster. I don't remember what they are, but they're like unique monsters in zones. And each zone, or not each zone, but certain zones have their own special unique monsters. But 99% of them you can just completely skip.
Okay.
And that's one of them. Here I look to see if I can smoke mine from the platform. There's a new technology out where like you can tell where you're at from the angle of your foot, but I'm
wait, what?
So yeah, it's a new thing that came up on Reddit.
All right.
A few days ago. I mean, we can put it in the description down below on the video. So if you want to study it or want to keep it open on League Start, then feel free to do so. But it's pretty excessive in my opinion. Eventually, though, racing will be at the point where we have to know, based on the angle of our foot, where we're going in Illinois too.
Yeah, basically, the races from like a year ago is like a complete different like today you have a way higher level because you're learning so much and stuff gets public where you can save time. And I can see in a year from now, like in 3.12, people may have discovered some new stuff, so you even can press the time even more. And this is exactly why I love that we do it now in 3.8, because when I browsed YouTube for racing guides, they're usually from like 3.1, 3.2, so that's like a year ago, you know, and people are discovering all the time new stuff, and here is actually right now, this is the current state right before 3.9 hits, right? So this is actually super exciting to watch here.
Here, a nice little tell is at the top of the stairs. You go for the side that has 1 cart instead of 2. If you notice me go up that last flight of stairs and go left.
You go up here?
So you can see this is the last flight of stairs, and you can see that one side is 1 cart and the other side is 2 carts. You always go on the side with 1 cart.
What carts? What carts are we talking about?
So just play through the layout. You see that cart right there? You can go ahead and go back a tiny bit.
Okay, well, let me try to fix that. It's like a little bit complicated to go. Wait a second.
Yeah, just play it from here. So we're about to approach the last flight of stairs. Here it is. And you can see as soon as I go up, there's a cart. And one side is 1 cart, and the other side is 2 carts. You can see it on the minimap a lot better.
Alright, so this cart here. Okay. Yep. And there where's one, there is the way to go, basically.
1 cart is always the way to go. Pretty much the same in Act 8 as well. Yeah, there's Lunars 2 in Act 8, and it's like all blue and stuff. There's one side that has no cart, and the other side has 2 carts. Always go on the side of 1 cart.
Okay.
Or 0 carts.
So you check where is 2 carts, just go the other way.
Yep.
Okay.
Here, there's always a magic pack behind that cart, and then there's gonna be a magic pack at the top. So that little congealed blood mob right there, and I got lucky on an extra magic pack. XP is level 27, which is fairly high.
I can see myself dying exactly to this situation. So you really need to pay attention.
Proj, yeah, extra proj fire damage can be a little scary, but you can see that these nice ladies will lock on to your position. So you can see that they're firing at a position that isn't even mine. They're firing where I was like half a second ago.
Yeah.
And so they'll lock onto your position and start firing there. You just flame dash and move out of the way, and you're able to do whatever you want for another second or so.
This is really scary. It happens in Act where is it, like I think Act 7 or something, on the way to Arakali, on this where you meet Alva for the first time. There is a lot of those dudes as well with the chaos damage.
Yeah, so another important thing about Tyty is she'll throw out like a ball lightning sometimes when you fight her first, like when you encounter her here. And so that's why you'll stand on one side of Tyty and throw the Stormblast Mines on the other side of Tyty.
Watch the fight again here.
So you can see that I'm standing on this side, and I throw out the Stormblast Mines on the other side, and she's already half health before the fight even starts. Here, you want to check your resistances to see what you can fight Tyty. Like if you have 75 fire res, you're going to be a lot safer than if you had 15 fire res, for example.
This is like cold phase and fire phase, basically, right?
Yep. Since I only had 30 cold res, I decided to be a little bit careful. Here, we're going to need to... well, here I opt for the level 20 craft on the other wand. So I already have the craft on one wand. And even though we crafted this at level 8, I want the higher tier roll. So I'm going to go ahead and craft over it again. So again, it's going to be a magic wand, an alteration, and a rare ring for the level 20 craft. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here with Clarissa. Boop, boop, boop. And you can see that it's extra damage now. And that's going to increase my damage by quite a bit.
The sockets and links will always stay like they were before the vendor recipe. And now you're like, I need a ring. Or did you like...
Yes.
Because I see you have one ring in your inventory, basically, right? So that's the question. Why don't you use that one and keep on using the one you have equipped? Because this is probably the better one, or the one that gives you more resistance?
So you have to use the rare ring. The ring in my inventory is a magic ring. I should have just straight up equipped it, but I didn't think anything of it. It ends up not being that much of a mistake because there's not really that many mobs that deal lightning damage until Scepter of God, which I think I equipped it by then. But like, you would just equip it. When you're speedrunning, you're not caring about the minute details unless you're in hardcore, or like, how do I get the maximum benefit out of everything? You should be thinking about it, but the main goal in speedrunning is to keep running and not die. So early on, like this early on, having capped res is really nice. especially in Acts 1 and 2, the game will treat you like you're a brand new player. Maybe this isn't the case in 3.9 with the more difficult bosses, but
Yeah, I heard that
at
they are
least,
going to buff all the bosses, so they want to make
yep.
Path of Exile harder than it currently is, and I hope they're gonna do it.
But like you can see that I put the topaz ring there, but there wasn't too much of a difference, not by not using it because nothing did lightning damage. But what I was saying earlier was that the game treats you like you're a brand new player. So by having it treats you like you only have like 0% res, and especially in Act 1. But maybe that's the case next patch. Here I switched to Icicle Mines and Pierce and Trap and Mine damage. This is just because Icicle Mines is good clear, and around this point my Frost Bomb starts to fall off, so I'm not really like insta-killing packs anymore. And I will only cast Frost Bomb to proc Onslaught. You'll notice this skill completely goes away in Act 5 when we get the Silver Flask.
Alright. Oh yeah, and then you get Onslaught from the Flask, okay.
Yep.
And now you're basically transforming into a full meta slave ice cycle miner basically, and then you will have like the Pyroblast mine as single target. Didn't they like super nerf it, or is it just still extremely strong?
I don't know if they nerfed it, but it's alright, I guess. I mean, it's
I mean, you're using it, so it has to be better than the majority of other stuff that you have access to.
I don't want to spoil anything, dude. I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
Let's just say that some of these bosses look a little trivial. I'll say that much. It might be getting nerfed, but hopefully GGG's not watching, because skill's pretty broken, to be honest.
I heard that so often. I mean, I remember when it came out, I think Race QT was racing with the Pyroblast, and every time I see somebody using Pyroblast, it completely demolished the whole content. I personally, when the brands came out, or at least like Pyroclast, man, I was talking about the freaking... Because they look so similar, the, what is it, Armageddon brand. This one I was talking about. Oh, damn it. I mixed that one.
Armor Brand's okay, but Lightning Spire Trap is just going to be what we're going to use if we don't use Pyroclast Mines. You can see here that I'm just switching out to the Pyroclast Mines. Ideally, again, a level requirement, you want to be 28 by Dominus. If you're not at that level, just make sure you kill a lot of mobs in Scepter. Here I make a mistake. I could have equipped that helmet and the gloves in my inventory. That would have been a lot better than what I'm doing right now. I switch over to... So because you're using mines, you're able to switch the trap and mine damage between the two gems, just in case you don't have an extra one. And here I'm trying to find the last guy, and I'm like, I think it's bugged, and then I realized he just ran away.
He's just scared. He had the same idea as you, just don't get hit.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, let's see the damage here.
Here, you always pre-trap, whether you're using Pyroclast Mines or you're using Lightning Spire Trap. And because you have a lot of time here, you're able to pick up all the rare items, fix your inventory, do your little passive tree, think about what you want to use.
Grab a coffee because this scenery takes up so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, from this point on, you're just using basically your Icicle Mines for clearing. And as soon as there is like a boss or any hard-hitting unique or something, which is kind of not the case because you said 99% of those unique bosses we are going to skip anyways. And the single target is the Pyroclast Mines, and that's basically your current setup, what you're running here, okay?
Another thing to note is the Frost Bomb, added Lightning, and Onslaught setup is useful for proccing Onslaught.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that?
I forgot to do the trial. What do you mean, what was that? Yeah, I forgot to do the trial, so...
The damage, dude! Holy shit.
I forgot to do the trial, so I go ahead and do that here. So we're in a vendor, go do the trial, or maybe just do the trial right now. And the reason why you want to hopefully do the trial beforehand is so you can do this little trick that I'm about to do. After getting the trial, you'll log out, you'll walk up the stairs, get the waypoint for lab, and then, as I stated earlier in the video, you want to be around level 31 when you're doing lab, except for some exceptions. And then you're able to take your waypoint in the mines or whatever they're called, the waypoint in the middle of Act 4, before you can choose to go to Duresso or Homm. And you take that waypoint, you go and do your lab, and then that way, when you log out, you're in the Act 4 town rather than the Act 3 town. Here I opt to sell all my rare items, pick up trap and mine damage, pick up some extra gems.
Like everywhere where you can like save up some seconds, you are about to do that. It's like next level, dude. It's like 3 levels above me, but I don't care. But yeah,
All right.
stop. This is now Act 4. So we are currently on 51 minutes. Currently, all skill points done that was available. All the trials done so far. It's like an insane run. I'm like super hyped, dude. I cannot really express myself too good because when I see your playstyle, how fast you are, but so much time that I'm always wasting with my characters, and so much stuff I could do better. And still, even though I spend more time making my characters good, checking resistance, life, I feel like you're way safer with way more damage than I will ever have in my kind of leveling. And this is why this is so exciting to me to see in a pro style of view. I know that some people think that I'm like a god player of some kind, but this is actually completely bullshit. I just have fun. I like to just waste currency on my characters to just make them super broken. But if you see like this, like Tyty in hardcore solo self-out, nothing, no level items, no nothing, and he's still like 3 times faster than I would be with any kind of level gear, and this is just super impressive, dude. It's insane.
Thank you. The thing that I like the most about this run is that you can tell that there's a human behind the computer, right? Like you can see that I'm still making mistakes. You can see that I'm reading layouts incorrectly, but it's
And
okay.
the
On a
game
league site,
crashes.
anything could happen. The game crashes, dude. It's messy, but it's
still
real.
it's a good time, as far as I know.
Yep.
Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in, and see ya on the next episode.